Just so you know, this is 100% just a video for me to like have something until I'm finished with the all-new archetype video coming soon. But how do I say what this is? Zark slash Odd Eyes slash Pendulum got support, and a lot of their cards are kind of crazy because they finally do something different with Pendulum, which is actually get to a real boss monster that isn't Baron plus Boral Sword plus Access Code plus Fusion Monster plus Synchro plus Exceed, all that shit. Fuck all that. That doesn't matter anymore. The first card here is their Fusion, the Supreme Celestial King Odd Eyes Archray Dragon. Thank God we have these beautiful names. We will never, ever live down to such a fantastic name as this, except for maybe Pendulum Magician. Can use the Pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. If you have 2 cards in your Pendulum Zone, you can special summon this card. Then you can shuffle one card from your Pendulum Zone into the deck. Then, if it returned to your extra deck, you can special summon it, ignoring summoning conditions. Whoa! That's a very good card because that suddenly gets your pendulums that are in your Pendulum Zones, like your Synchro, like Clearwing and stuff like that. Suddenly you can put those back into your main area, creating a new line. The monster effect requires 4 different monsters of Fusion, Synchro, Xyz, and Pendulum, and this card's always treated as Supreme King Zark, which is, in parentheses, including in deck building. Face down card is in the extra deck, must either be Fusion summoned or special summoned by attributing 1 level 12 Dark Supreme King Zark, which there are a lot of ways to do that. If this card is special summoned from the extra deck, you can place 1 Pendulum monster from your deck in your Pendulum Zone. If this card is in the monster zone and it's destroyed, you can place it in your Pendulum Zone. It is a 13 scale pendulum. This shit goes hard. Unfortunately, I do not think it will do much because it's just there. Like, you have a way to cheat out Zark, but he pretty much has the same requirements as this guy. So why not just jump to this guy? Next card, however. Supreme King Gate Guardian. Or Supreme King Gate Magician. I'm sorry, if it was a Gate Guardian, it would actually be funny. Pendulum effect. You can only use the Pendulum effect if this card's name once returned. Supreme King Zark you control cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects. Neat! This stops Zark from being affected by exactly Mirror Jade. And that's kind of funny, honestly. During your main phase, you can destroy this card, and if you do, place on Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster in your hand or deck, from your hand or deck in your Pendulum Zone, except Supreme King Gate Magician. Neat. Has the stipulation of course, you're not able to deck then with it, but, of course, it's still a very good way to get all your shit out. You can only use the first and second monster effect of this card's name once per turn. If you have Supreme King Gate, a card other than Supreme King Gate Magician in your Pendulum Zone, say 1 Pendulum Dragon, XC Dragon, Synchro Dragon, or Fusion Dragon monster from your hand or extra deck to the graveyard. And if you do, special summon this card from your hand. If this card is special summoned, you can add 1 card that mentions Supreme King Zark from your deck to your hand. He's the Searcher. He summons himself for free, pretty much. He sets up your graveyard. It goes hard. Supreme King Dragon Lightworm. Hey, look, this looks like Cursed Dragon. Not saying anything. I'm just saying that, you know, gonna use the pendulum effect of this card's name once per turn. If a monster is special summoned, you can control 1 Supreme King Zark and another Pendulum monster. You can control summon this card, and then you can choose one other Pendulum monster from you control, and the attribute and level of that monster or this card become the attribute and level of the other. So he can become a different level. I don't know what that. Oh no, it'd be used for like Exceed shenanigans, I guess, but like that's kind of ass. Only use the first and second monster effect of this card's name once per turn. If this card is normal or special summoned, you can add 1 face-up Supreme King Dragon or Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your hand. Then, immediately after its effect resolves, you can Synchro or Exceed summon 1 Supreme King monster. I mean, yeah, it sure can. If a face-up Pendulum monster is destroyed by battle or card effect while this card is face-up in your extra deck, you can add this card to your hand. Good way to recurd it. Good way to set up waste into both Synchro and Exceeds. He is a tuner, so that's also really good, actually. Unfortunately, I think the thing is, Supreme King... Any of the Supreme Kings are like level 7, so I don't know how good he is, but I think he's fine. Pendulum Evolution! Wow, we needed another card that has the fucking Arc V scale thing on it, didn't we? You can only use the first, second, and third effect of this card's name once per turn. Shuffle 1 Pendulum monster from your hand into the deck, add 1 Pendulum monster with 2500 attack with a different name from your deck to your hand. Cool, free way to add any of your Pendulums. If you special summon a face-down Pendulum monster from your extra deck this turn, you can activate this effect. Immediately after this effect resolves, Pendulum summon a monster. A good way to have a second way into Pendulum summoning because Pendulum and Magician exist. You can target one Supreme King Zark you control. It can attack all your opponent's monsters once each this turn. That effect will probably never get used outside of like ending the game. But I mean, that's fine. I don't care. You only activate one card with this card's name per turn. During your main phase, add one Supreme King Dragon or Supreme King Gate Pendulum monster from your deck to your hand. Or, if you control Supreme King Zark, you can summon it instead. That's a good card, actually. Having a free way to not only add a card to your hand, but also possibly just straight up being a E-Tele for one of your Supreme Kings. Crazy. I don't know how great it will actually be with the final combos that people will make for this deck, but definitely interesting at minimum for now. Miracle of the Supreme King. If you control Supreme King Zark, activate one of these effects. Destroy one Supreme King Zark you control. If you do so, summon one Odd Eyes Pendulum monster or one Light Supreme King Zark from your deck or extra deck, ignoring its summoning conditions. So you just, if you get Zark out, you can just summon anything. That's crazy. Place one face-up Pendulum monster from your extra deck to your Pendulum zone. Set one quick play spell directly from your deck. You can only use each of these effects of this card's name once per turn. The free quick play setup is like this, which is cool, but it's a trap card, so I don't think it'll actually do much. Soul of the Supreme Celestial King. Look at the boy. There he is. He's penduluming. He's got the pandal hams. You'll activate one card with this card's name per turn. Tribute one spellcaster pendulum monster with 2500 original attack. Fusion summon one Supreme King Zark from your extra deck by banishing fusion materials listed on it from your hand, deck, or extra deck. Holy shit. That's great, actually. I just wish it wasn't a trap card. Its effects are negated unless at least one of each of these Pendulum, Exceed, Synchro Dragon, and Fusion Dragon monsters are currently banished. Which, if you're doing this deck, they will be banished. Very good, actually. That's it.